Welcome to SorWil Solutions, where we talk about what's going on in our community. I'm here with Kathryn Hancock, our marketing director, and our special guest today is Todd and Laurie Mefford, realtors in the Leavenworth, Kansas City metro area.
There you go.
I didn't stumble over it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. We really enjoy having dynamic people on, and you guys are a dynamic duo in our community.
Well,
You
thanks.
guys
Thanks
are
for having us.
everywhere.
A dynamic couple.
A
That's
power
our
couple.
that's our first. Our
Oh,
first
really?
time
Yeah.
You're
having
the first
two
couple.
guests.
All
Yeah.
right.
First couple. Yep.
Yeah.
Glad to be the guinea pigs.
Yep.
We're glad to have you. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about how you guys got started and where you guys came from?
So where we came from, we'll start with that. I served 22 and a half years in the Army.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for yours. I appreciate it. And that brought us here. But what really kind of got us started into real estate was actually going back to the early 2000s when we were down in College Station. I was getting my master's and we were only going to be there for about 18 months. We were looking to rent. And the agent that was showing us around, eventually we got to the point she asked if we would consider buying. And we had done nothing to prepare for it, but she showed us a home that was perfect for us, perfect for our lifestyle at that point in time and location. We were just so woefully unprepared for it that we were ignorant about the VA loan. She was ignorant about the VA loan. The mortgage broker was ignorant about it. So we ended up doing, a 80-20 loan on the house where we had two loans on it, where we had to put money down. The interest rates were higher rather than just being able to use our VA loan. And so, we sold that house. We had to sell it for sale by owner because that's the only way we could break even. And then we turned around and we bought another house for sale by owner without an agent.
Yeah. We made tons of mistakes along the way.
And so once we knew that we were going to retire and stay here, we decided to buy in Lansing. And as we went through that process, it kind of made us start thinking about real estate a little bit more. And it was probably another 18 months or so before we decided to get into it. But our big reason for it was to try and help others from making the same mistakes that we did.
Yeah. So we got to the Fort Leavenworth area in 2012.
Okay.
Todd was active duty, retired in 2016. We both were sitting one day and we're like, let's do the real estate license. So we did that, got licensed in 2018, and here we are.
It's amazing. You guys are stalwarts in the community now. You're an Athena Award winner. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Were you expecting that? Did you know that you were up for that, or?
Well, no. Someone had mentioned last year
Uh-huh.
that they had nominated me, but I did not know for this year. So yes, that was a pleasant surprise. I was very honored. Very honored.
Well deserved.
Yes. Well deserved.
So,
But yeah, and speaking of the chamber, if it wasn't for the chamber, I mean, we really owe so much between, like, whenever we got into real estate, one of the agents we worked with was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to go to the military affairs meeting, but I can't make it. Do y'all want to go on our place?"
Mhm.
So we went and we fell in love with it. We fell in love with the people. So we immediately got our own membership with the chamber. We got involved with not only military affairs, we really got involved with the young professionals, and we weren't even young, but that was our favorite group.
young.
We were young at heart. But and then through the years, we've become ambassadors. We got really involved in the women of the chamber.
Mhm.
So it is,
Mac social sponsors.
yeah. We just feel we have a lot of gratitude towards the chamber and Main Street. They were very instrumental in helping us get to where we are now.
You guys, you help out with the leadership class that I'm
yes,
in.
yes.
And you guys sponsor the meals. It seems like every leadership class. So
Not-
thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Well, we hope they're good.
yeah, yeah. That's something.
Well, so we're both graduates of the Leavenworth Lansing leadership class as well.
What year?
I am 2024.
Okay.
I was 20. I didn't get a graduation. I was
The COVID
that
class.
was COVID year.
Oh, there.
But great class. I feel like you really get to dip your toe into all aspects of the community. So
I
it's very
definitely
informative.
underappreciated because even I've been here since 1985. My father came here in '85. Came to Fort Leavenworth. I tell this story all the time. You guys might have heard it. So But I love the story. We were stationed in Germany. My dad was working in Frankfurt, and he gets orders one day. He did 2 tours there. We were there for like 7 years. They wanted to extend again. They said, "No, you guys got to go." And so they go, "You're going to Hawaii." And then next thing I know, at the last second, we end up in Leavenworth, Kansas. Huge disappointment. Or I thought it was gonna be a huge disappointment. That was 1985, and so I've been here since '85. I call this home. This community has been incredibly awesome to
Mm-hmm.
us. So welcoming. I think we gained another appreciation because we did move to New Jersey for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different.
Totally
Totally
different.
different. Totally different. There's a lot more to eat there. There is a Chipotle on every corner. I know that's what we want one day. Chipotle on every corner in Leavenworth. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but coming home was so awesome. And then to jump right back into the community and to meet you guys has been incredible. You guys have been great friends to us, and so we do appreciate that. I know Kathryn has questions though. What was the question that's on your mind?
um, you guys were talking about COVID, so I wanted to ask how COVID has affected the real estate market, not only during but now after.
So it was very interesting during COVID because um, when it first started, everything shut down temporarily. Fortunately for both Kansas and Missouri, real estate was deemed an essential uh,
Need.
a
Yeah.
need. So
Okay.
we were able to start working, but there was a lot of precautions we had to take, whether it was everyone wearing masks, providing hand sanitation, limiting who touched things. So
Only the main buyers were allowed in the house. Like they couldn't bring their whole family.
Oh wow.
yeah, so like we would get there early and you go through, with gloves on, turn on lights, open cabinets and stuff so they could look through it to minimize any contact with anything. So it made the in-person selling more challenging. But what it did is it really opened up the world to the virtual aspects of real estate where
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of the nature for Leavenworth area that we have so many people that come here from not just outside the area, but also outside the country that doing virtual real estate tours where we would FaceTime with them or we would go through and record a video for them because, there's times where we've had clients in Germany, Hawaii, Korea, and then across the United States. And you got to remember who's in what time zone. So Germany, you could talk to them until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hawaii, you could start talking to them at about noon. Korea, you had a sliver of time in the morning and the evening to talk to them. And so just keeping all that in mind. And the market became so competitive during that time that we were working with clients in Korea that they would tell us, hey, we're interested in these homes. We would go do a video tour for them, record the video, upload it, but regrettably, by the time they woke up, the house was already under contract.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
It went quick.
it went
Yeah,
quick,
it
and
was definitely a huge buyer's market. I mean, it still is, but nothing like it was
Mm-hmm.
Ye-
around that time.
yeah. So the beginning of COVID, the market slowed down because everybody was truly concerned what was going on. They were reluctant to give up what they had. We started seeing more multi generational type housing
Mhm.
situations, and so through
That's when builders started shifting the way they were building too. Like it used to, everything had a formal dining room.
Mm.
Well, they realized that
Yeah.
now we need a place to put the kids for school, or I'm sent home to work now. I need an office, so they started building more
functional space.
functional
Okay.
space.
Nice.
Yeah, and so the buyers kind of built up in 2020, and so the market really went crazy in 21. But if we kind of back up a little bit before that, so in 2015 is when there was really a big change in the Leavenworth area. To begin the year, it was very much a buyer's market. There were over 9 months of supply of houses, so there was a lot of new construction that was going on. The buying wasn't really picking up. But by the end of the year, we were down to about 3.5, 3.6 months of supply. So a change of about 6 months.
And
And
a lot of that was the builders couldn't get supplies because there was that
Yeah,
big
it's-
transportation issue.
so, since 2015, we've kind of been in a seller's market here. But following COVID, she kind of mentioned that supplies became tougher, so new construction kind of slowed down. So then the resale market really went crazy, where it was multiple offers on homes, over asking, appraisal waiver contingencies, um, you know, waiving inspections. And so we're starting to see the impact of some of that, where some of these buyers may have paid more for a home, may not have done all their inspections, or couldn't really ask for any repairs if you wanted the house. And so now there's some challenges of some of the buyers being either upside down in their equity
Mm-hmm.
or not enough equity really to take advantage of having been a homeowner for a while. So COVID had a big impact on the market, not just here, but everywhere. Really kind of changed the way things are done, making it more virtual in a lot of ways, streamlining some of the processes. But you know,
Right.
for
Us working with so many military families, they don't have time to travel here to look for a house because, and especially when it was really crazy. So the virtual tours, we got to where, we had to put ourselves in their shoes and realize that, we have to advocate for them. We have to not only be their eyes as we're doing our video tours, but we also have to use our noses and our ears and just really be vigilant at looking at everything, cracks in the ceiling or water spots or whatever it might be.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest thing we've seen from that, and before we started, we kind of touched on tax assessments a little bit.
Yeah.
So what we've really seen since about 2017 in Leavenworth County is that the average home sale price is up by about 60%.
Wow.
So coming out, the first couple of years, it was 2017 was like 4.7, and it was like 6.9%, 6.7. And then we start getting into the COVID era, and it was like 9.3%, 12.3%, 13%. We did have our correction locally in 23, where average sales price was only up about 1.5%. But 24, we started seeing going back up. I think it was about 5.5, 6% that the average sales price was up. So as a result of that, one of part of the struggle challenge that the county has is by state law that they've got to be in compliance with tax assessments. And so what we've seen over the last 3 to 4 years has been a significant jump in the assessments on properties. So that's one of the things that we talk to not just our clients about, but others that, if they have questions about it, if they need help with it, considering an appeal or anything, that, we'll help them out with that as well.
But we also have to educate when they're buying and they're talking to their lender. Yes, this is what your taxes are figured at right now, but they need to understand, yes, your interest rate is fixed. But those property taxes and your insurance can fluctuate. So, and typically it's up, not down. So
They definitely need to
they,
talk about
you're
that
right.
to us when we were buying a house.
Because if you're buying at the top of your limit, you don't
Mhm.
want to, you've got to keep that in mind because you don't want to tip the scale and be upside down.
That's so true. We bought a house in Jersey for $299, but our property taxes were literally $12,000 a year.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I always felt like I was making a small, making a mortgage payment plus a purchase of another small house because I mean it was just so much, and there was never any going down. So between taxes and insurance and all that, when we moved from Jersey to here, we also had a realtor, and we experienced that every house we put a bid on was either sold out from under us or somebody bid above asking. And so we looked at a house. It was in Piper on New Jersey Street. And I was convinced that was Kismet, right? That was the house we were supposed to go to because we were coming from Kansas or from New Jersey back to Kansas, and we were living
We
on New
live on
Jersey
Jersey
Street.
Street.
It had
Yeah.
a pool in the backyard. And so I called my realtor. I said, just put a bid on it. We're going to buy it. That's the house we're supposed to have. And he's like, well, let me take a look on it. Took a look at it. And so he went and took a look at it. He's like, Joe, you don't want to buy this house because the roof is literally in the backyard.
The what?
The roof was literally in the backyard. All the shingles were blown off.
Oh, no.
The pool had a huge problem. It had been one of those sales where somebody bought it, they tried to flip it, they didn't flip it, and they were just trying to resell it. Realtors like that, realtors like you guys that go out and do that. You talk about
Right.
the nose, the ears. That's I think what separates you guys from the rest, right? You're not just trying to make a commission. You're going out there taking care of people. And I hope you guys know how much that's appreciated. I know I appreciated our realtor at the time for that.
Right.
That you're making not just a difference, you're not just making a buck, but you're making a difference in people's
Right.
lives. And you're dealing with so many of our military. How do they go about finding you?
We we have a page that we've run for 5 years.
Yeah.
We're going on 5 years. It's called Fort Leavenworth PCS Pay It Forward, and it's strictly for military, and they could be active duty, retired, even
Guard,
DoD,
reserve.
guard, reserves. So it is a landing page for them, and it's a private page, so they can ask questions and not feel like it's blasted out everywhere. But we give them information on schools, jobs, all types of housing, whether it's on post, renting, or buying. And then we just load them up with community events and things that are going on. So, if they're coming in, a lot of them feel like they already have a home. It gives them a soft landing into the Fort Leavenworth area. So that's where we get a lot of our military buyers, but through the years, just through reputation and them referring us, we get a lot of our past clients or even past members that are still in the group or have been in the group are referring us to military families. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in another way. We talked about community a little bit before. When we retired, moved to Lansing. Part of it, after living on post for 4 years, which is an entirely separate world. We loved it. Our time on post was fantastic. But once we knew we were retiring, we were going to stay here. We moved off post. We also decided then that we were going to get involved in the community, and so as we were talking about earlier, the chamber, Main Street, just different activities, Lions Club that we're involved in, giving back that way that, we've been fortunate enough that people have kept us in mind and recommended us to others.
This community, what I have found having run a couple of businesses here, marketing, you don't get a lot from your marketing dollars, in my opinion. Billboards, they're
Right.
great, but they don't help. It's all about relationships and the
Really,
relationships that you build.
I agree.
Mhm.
Any business. Yeah. It's and we try, we have we we try to give back as much as we can. Now when we give, it always is we try to be intentional with it. It's
Mhm.
not just to give for, whatever. We our big focuses are we always on small business, shop local. That's
Hmm.
why, Chamber, Main Street, we're new members of LCDC. Um we also Alzheimer's is really close to our hearts.
Hmm.
So I'm on the board of the Deeper Window,
Oh, wow.
and I mean, what a wonderful program. Elaine Bellardo is
She's great.
she's
She's
doing
awesome.
so much. I don't think people realize how much she is doing for families who are living with Alzheimer's. I'm big on education, so I'm Education Foundation.
Yep.
I was a teacher for 12 years,
Oh, wow.
believe that or not. But
A DOD teacher.
no,
No?
no. I was elementary and special ed, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But teaching took a turn, and it made it's difficult.
Mhm.
Our teachers have it hard out there,
They do.
and they don't. Let's be real. They don't get paid enough for what they do. And so the Education Foundation, I love that, what we bring in and what we focus on is giving those grants back to those teachers, to those good teachers that are like having great ideas that just need a little money to help get their project going.
And speaking of grants and giving some money back, I'm so excited for their fundraiser, the meat raffle. That was just
Didn't
absolutely so
need
much.
that.
I know.
Yeah, that's
That
fun.
was so much fun, and I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
crazy.
weird, but it's really fun. Yeah.
What do they do for it?
They have actually Jason is the one that gets the meat from that Scuvuzzo's where he gets a lot of
Uh-huh.
his food from. And I mean he has a huge table full of meat, and they spin a wheel.
They spin a wheel,
Yeah, you
and
get little tickets. You buy your little lottery tickets or whatever you call them,
Mhm.
and they spin the wheel. And if it lands on your number, you get to go up and you choose.
it's packs of meat.
Yeah.
So it's not just like it's a steak or
And
something.
It's not like little. It's big packages of like hamburger meat and like their hot dogs, Scavuzzo's hot dogs. If you haven't had one, try it at
Suburban
Denny's.
or
Denny's.
Denny's.
Yeah,
Plug.
yeah, they're
Shameless
so
plug.
good. Yeah, really good. Yeah, it's fun.
What do you think the biggest mistake that first-time home buyers make?
Lack of education.
Hmm.
I would say that was me.
Yeah, that was us too. And so, one of the things that we try to do, she mentioned the Fort Leavenworth PCS Pay It Forward page, but we also have one that, for the ones that are interested in buying,
We scoot them over into
savvy
another
KC
page.
Metro home buyers, where we try to give education because we think that educated buyers just make better decisions. And so, in doing that, we can provide tips and tricks on things, talk mortgages, you know, things to look for in a home. It's kind of funny. One of the good things about having two of us when we're working with buyers is that you get two distinctly different perspectives. You know, she kind of looks from the floor to the ceiling, looks at that aspect of it, some of the aesthetics, the space, what you can do with it,
functionality.
and a lot of my time is spent looking at foundation, mechanicals, plumbing, electrical, those kind of things. Try to look at the big ticket items that could be the most costly things moving into it. So I think education is the biggest thing, just understanding what they're getting into and all of the aspects of it.
And yeah, understanding your loan and yeah, lenders matter. I mean, really, everyone involved in a transaction matters. If you need an agent that's going to educate a first time home buyer, but you also need that lender that understands this is a first time home buyer.
I
You
didn't
might have to hold their hand.
I didn't realize that they could sell, your lender could sell to other lenders and you get a new one. I didn't realize that when I was.
So,
Are you
yeah,
talking after close?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
not all lenders have a portfolio where they keep the loans inside. A lot of times they'll sell them off on a secondary market to investors or something.
I think most of them are doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I think ours has moved 3 times now.
Yeah.
And I think that happens if you get one of those national lenders. I think if you shop locally, once again, I know my parents bought their house through, I think it was the Citizens, and they were promised that the loan would be kept local. But I think you have to go looking for that because most will.
And ask.
Mhm.
Just ask when you're shopping loans. Hey, do you keep them in house or do you sell them off? Because I mean, it's not. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal. But when it comes time, like if you want to sell it and you want to, hey, I'll let somebody assume my loan. It does. Some of those
It was
ones that
coming
buy 'em.
time to make the rent or the mortgage payment,
Mhm.
and they had sold it, and luckily we didn't pay the other one because we still had to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they sell
It
it
was
off,
a mess.
figuring out who it's supposed to go
Yes,
to
right.
and getting all that set up again can
Yeah.
be a challenge.
Yeah.
You said something that really I've only heard a lot recently, and that's people assuming loans because they want the lower interest rate that
Mhm.
you have because the market right now. What's the interest rate right now?
Probably about 6.5%, depending on the type of loan.
Yeah.
So is that coming down?
It is.
Or?
It is coming down.
Ours was 8, I think, when we bought it.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah, there's been positive news, economic news recently where the inflation targets were met. So we're seeing a slow trickle down. I don't think we're going to see the big drops in the interest rates. I think
Maybe next year.
I think right now the Fed's only projected to make maybe 2 cuts this year, one in June, maybe in November. But that's all going to be dependent upon the economic situation and what happens. But we are seeing positive. We're no longer in the eights. We're in the sixes. Um, have seen some lenders recently that look like high fives for VA loans. But as Laurie mentioned, who you work with matters. Making sure you understand everything that actually goes into the loan and not falling prey to some of the advertising of a ridiculously low interest rate. And then you look at the APR and it's sometimes 2 points higher where they factor in all the fees and costs and everything associated with it.
But we've helped 2 families in the last 6 months buy with an assumable loan. But it's different with every lender. Like one it took like maybe 45 days, which it was really easy. They got in there, they got it done, and the other one took over 3 months to
Wow.
close. So it just
That's crazy.
yeah, that is where if the seller needs to get out and get going, sometimes they're like, hey, I don't want to take that chance on how long it might take.
I told you we wouldn't talk about politics, and we're not going to, but what I do want to talk about is the current administration, where we're at nationally. How is that impacting the market now? Where are we? What are we going? What do you think the trends we're going to see?
So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty um, with the executive orders that were put in place. That especially for the probationary uh,
The Doge.
employees, that a lot, regrettably, some of them lost their job.
Some are still in fear that they could lose their job.
And so, yeah, as just came from the military affairs council meeting, and garrison commander was pointing out that they're looking at potentially a 5% or so reduction in the government workforce, and so there's still going to be some uncertainty out there. We are seeing or hearing cases of a house going under contract, but the buyer then losing their job and having to cancel the contract. So that not only affects the buyer but also impacts the seller and what they may want to do with theirs. So
But on the flip side, we've got those that are at the end. They were probably trying to decide if they were ready to retire, and all of this has told them, yeah, it's time to leave, and they're wanting to sell their house. So, but I think it's going to provide a lot more apprehension than maybe some of the sellers.
yeah, there's going to be some uncertainty for a while until everything starts to settle down with how the administration is really approaching things. Um, if Doge can actually find some efficiency in it within the government, start saving some money, that might start having a positive impact on the interest or on the inflation, which could end up being a benefit and positive for interest rates. But I think it's going to take some time for everything to shake out in terms of how exactly they're going to approach it and proceed with everything until we get back to, I guess, what's going to be a new normal or
Or
whatever.
we'll see what's going to happen next week.
Hold on tight.
Literally.
Oof.
Very unlikely. That was artificially influenced because of COVID. It was action that they had to take to force rates down because we were at an economic stalemate. I mean, the economy was pretty much in shambles at that point because of everything that happened, manufacturing, supplies. Government had to step in and do something, and so those rates were artificially depressed. I really think the only way we're ever going to see something like that again is if we have another, catastrophe or, um, I don't even know what to refer to COVID as anymore. Such a major event that has a large impact like that.
Right.
If we're lucky, I'll put my optimist hat on and say that by the end of the year, I hope that we're going to trickle down into the fives. I have others that disagree with me on this, but we'll see.
We wish we had a crystal ball.
Yeah. We all do. So why don't you go ahead and give out how can people get a hold of you? What's your web address?
So you can get in touch with us on Facebook, Todd and Laurie Mefford, Mefford Real Estate brokered by EXP. Our phone number is 913-662-1506. Our web address is just meffordrealestate.com. We've got our office down at 605 Shawnee. Stop by and see us.
It's free drinks on Friday nights, though, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
If you make it there.
We have coffee all the time. Yeah. But yes, Friday nights.
Do people have to make appointments to see you in the office? Are you guys usually out and about?
We're starting to get the spring market starting to pick up, so we're in and out a little bit more. It's always best to check see if we're in. We'll make time for you. Love to chat about any of your real estate needs, and anything else that's going on in the community.
Yeah, I just come in and just sit down and talk.
You just, and we love it. We love it.
Yeah, that's what we kind of went for, was something to be a little bit more welcoming, not just kind of the sterile office environment, but something kind of welcomes you in, sit down and visit and talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Build those relationships.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and switch gears a little bit, something a little bit lighter. Before we do that, I want to announce, the shirt I'm wearing today. I'm supporting the United Way. Kathryn's supporting the interfaith community of
Yeah.
Hope. Our community does a lot of wonderful things, and so when we do the podcast, we try to put on shirts that just show some of the organizations that we support financially, physically, however we can serve, because we just feel like giving back is so important because
Mm-hmm.
this community has given so much.
Absolutely.
And with housing being a critical issue for those that are unhoused or anything else, Interfaith Community of Hope is they're one of our favorites, and we're looking forward to
The Hope Gala.
the Hope Gala that's coming
All
up.
right.
Yeah.
And another one along those lines is the Veterans Community Project. Help.
Have you been over there?
I have not.
It's in Kansas City.
Okay.
They build the tiny homes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Phenomenal project.
Wow.
And they've expanded. They're in
I think-
like
I think-
5 other
Uh,
states now.
I think it might be approaching 8.
Wow.
They have one in St. Louis, Sioux
Ours was
Falls,
first. Kansas City was
I didn't know
first.
that.
Oklahoma City. They've got one going out in Arizona. I have to look at that and see, but Veterans Community Project made you an amazing thing that they're trying to do to help end veteran homeless.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, as we shift, we talk about, just kind of what's on your mind. And we will start with Kathryn.
I was gonna talk about the weather, but then I really wanted to ask you guys how the dynamic of working together married is, because I'm sure a lot of people wonder, do you butt heads? Are you best friends? Like,
Oh,
You have to say they're best friends.
I mean, we are definitely best friends. And it's. I mean, honestly, it hasn't been an issue for me, has it? You?
No,
That's a loaded question.
no. I feel safe at home.
I mean, we are together 24/7.
yeah.
So if you see us like in a social setting, you'll usually see
One here, one there.
Right. I'll usually go sit with somebody else. And it's not that I don't want to be around him. I'm around him 24/7. So I kind of like give myself a chance to go over and be with other people. Like the other night when the women of the chamber did the Valentine's.
Yeah.
That was nice. That was nice.
I got to go home and eat pizza and watch sports.
That's all you can ask for.
Right.
I enjoy how whenever we go to any events you guys are at and it requires dressing up,
You guys are
you
dressed
guys are always over the top.
to the 10.
Over the top. And
It's great.
can pick you out from a crowd every time.
Well, we do need to organize our closet space now. We do have enough costumes that we could probably open a store.
Yeah, we could do a rental business on
I
the
think I
cost.
can name at least 2 or 3 different costumes. Willy Nilly was great.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. And then for the chamber, Hagrid and Professor McGonagall. And
That
Yeah.
was great.
The Denims and Diamonds event. That was
Oh
great.
yeah, we were Brittany and Justin.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of fun.
we love having fun with things in the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, on my mind is the beads that I got at the gym this morning, and I didn't have to show anything to get the beads, so I was just they were handed out. Because today is Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras.
It sure is.
So, kind of an exciting time. I got to go to 3 different Mardi Gras when I was in college because I was in ROTC, and the drill and ceremony team with weapons, performed at and competed at Mardi Gras on a couple of events. So I got to go and experience all of that, march in some parades and do the competition, and then
Give out some
experience
beads.
the nightlife.
Wow.
Hand out some beads.
Yeah.
I handed out a couple of beads there and there. I had no idea the minute I landed what that even meant. So this is a PG rated show, so we won't go into what that means.
Were you able to get you a king cake?
No, I did not ever get a king cake.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge
You
this
can
year.
get one at
Yeah.
Karma.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw somebody mention that they had them at the commissary too. So, but I went around Price Chopper, Walmart, Dillon's. They didn't have any.
Oh, Karma's selling them.
Good.
Yeah.
And so I will ask you each individually, what's on your mind? Laurie, we'll start with you.
I always like St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the. And, we have a really good St. Patrick's Day parade
Mhm.
around
Yeah, we
here,
do.
so looking forward to that.
Should be good weather.
Yeah, good weather. Oh yeah, I think it's supposed to be 70 degrees that day, so that makes it even better.
So that will be the blizzard we're having tomorrow.
Tonight.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Over that. Yeah. What about you?
Todd?
March Madness. It's that
Ooh.
time of year.
What's your team?
Kentucky, the all-time winningest college basketball program.
We're in Kansas, honey.
I don't care. K who?
This year, that's for sure.
Are you guys
The
gonna
first
have
time we
those
haven't been rocked.
cute little
Raced.
magnets for March Madness? And I know you had them for football, so
I don't. No, we're not gonna.
It-
Not this
it's
year.
too tough to do because the teams are announced right before the tournament starts, and so to try and turn around something that quickly,
We could do baseball.
oh, that'd be fun. For
We
real?
could do baseball. Yeah.
which unfortunately the Savannah Bananas aren't coming back here again this year. If you ever get the chance to see them, they're
Tried to
Griffin
buy
wants
tickets
to
last year.
go.
It's impossible to buy.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
They are coming this year. The
They
Monarchs.
are.
it's
They
the
are.
Monarchs or Royals.
No, they go to the Monarchs usually.
They
That's where
may
win
be
tickets.
playing at the Royal Stadium this year.
I
I think
think
they're
they're
now they've moved up to
Some of the
playing
major
in
league
Major
stadiums.
League stadiums. But I do think they're coming. Boy, they're
Do the tickets sell out as soon as they announce it?
They do.
They're fun though.
Yeah.
And if you buy them online, you'll pay about 4 or 5 times more. You got to buy them from their website, and they're always sold
Oh
out.
well, that's
They'll
good to
be at
know.
Kaufman on the 23rd and 24th of May.
And I bet you if you try to buy tickets, they're sold out. I tried last year I tried to buy a suite at the Monarchs last year and I'd take a bunch of people out there, the whole family and
Yeah.
friends, and there's no tickets there. at all.
Wow.
It is Memorial
they
Day
get-
weekend.
Well, so that could help.
But that's also right before the Mrs. Roper romp.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Catherine and I are
Mrs.
the
Roper.
women of the chamber are gonna
Three's Company.
I know what we're talking about. I just don't know what we're talking
come
about.
and knock on my door.
She's sang that for everybody. to learn it too.
So
Well, thank you very much for being on our podcast.
Well, thank you
guys
for
are
having us.
Incredible guests. You are incredible people. I'm honored to just know you guys.
thank you.
And I
Same
appreciate
here.
everything you do for the
Yeah,
community.
we're thankful to be able to support amazing people and amazing company like y'all as well.
Well, that's our edition of SorWil Solutions this week. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.